Welcome to my granny square tutorial. I will show you how to create this unique and beautiful granny square step by step. For every round, you'll see the pattern text on screen so you can follow along easily. To make it even clearer, every stitch I'm working on will be highlighted with animated red circles so you will never lose your place. And for all you visual learners, I've included a pattern diagram for every round with the full voice narration, pattern text, and stitch diagram. Plus, to help you follow along, you'll see a progress bar at the bottom of my screen so you'll always know exactly where we are. So grab your hook and your yarn and let's get started. For the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to be using this beautiful merino wool in blue and a 3.0 millimeter hook. So let's get started. For this granny square, I'm going to start out with my magic ring. Here we go. If you look at round number 1, it consists of 8 puff stitches to create this cute little flower in the middle. So that's what we're going to do right now. For the first puff stitch, I'm going to lengthen this stitch a little bit. This is going to count as our first loop for the puff stitch. And then I yarn over, pull up a second loop, and I yarn over and pull up a third loop. Okay, then I yarn over, pull through all the loops, and chain 1 to finish the first puff stitch. And in between each puff stitch, we're going to do chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so let's do the second puff stitch. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a second loop, yarn over, pull up a third loop, and now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 loops here on your hook right here, plus the one original one. So you're gonna yarn over, pull through all the loops except for the last one. So you have 2 now left, and then yarn over, pull through the remaining 2. And then you chain 3, 1, 2, 3. So let's do that together one more time. Yarn over, pull up 1 loop, yarn over, pull up a second loop, yarn over, pull up a third loop, then you yarn over, pull through all the loops but the first one, yarn over, pull through both of them, and chain 3, 1, 2, 3. So I have a total of 3 puff stitches right now. We need 8 total, so do the remaining 5 and I'll meet you back over here. Okay, I did 8 puff stitches and I slip stitch on top of my first puff stitch to close out round 1. So this is what your work should look like right now. And round 2 is very interesting. The first thing you want to do is you want to slip stitch over into the first chain 3 space, since we're going to be working between the puff stitches only. Okay, and we're going to start out with a V stitch. A V stitch is a double crochet, chain 2, and a double crochet. So since this is my first stitch, my first double crochet is going to be a little bit different. You can just do a chain 3 to count as a double crochet. I just don't like the look so much. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to pull up a loop and do a single crochet, and then I do a chain 1. So this is going to count as my first double crochet, and then I chain 2, and then I do a second double crochet. Okay, so this is double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. So I'm going to call that a V stitch. So next up is very interesting. You don't see this technique very often with a granny square. So we're going to do double crochet 2 together. and we're going to put one into the first space and a second one in the second space. Okay, so yarn over into the same space, pull up a loop as to do a double crochet. You have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 of them, and leave it as that. And you're going to do the same into the next space. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next space, pull up a loop. Now you have 4 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 of them. So you have the 2 half finished double crochet. Now you're going to yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And then we're going to do another V-stitch into the same space right here. So we're going to do a double crochet, chain 2, and a double crochet. So that was our second V-stitch. And then into the same space, I'm going to do the first out of 2 double crochet 2 together. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook into the next space, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now you have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Okay, and then into this same space here, we're going to put a V-stitch. So V-stitch is a double crochet, chain 2, and another double crochet. Okay, so one more time. Let's do double crochet 2 together into the same space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. We're going to repeat that into the next space. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Now you have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and into the same space we're going to do a V-stitch. Double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. Okay, so very interesting stitch. So that's round number 2. Continue to work this combination and I'll meet you back over here. So I'm at the end of round 2. So I just did my V-stitch into this last space here. And remember, we started out with the V-stitch in the first space. So we have to finish the round with the double crochet 2 together. So yarn over into this last space, pull up your loop, and then into the next space we're going to do another half finished double crochet, and then yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and then you're going to slip stitch into the first double crochet. So that was round number 2. Okay, let's start round number 3. So take a look at your work here. You have these spaces, which was the chain 2 from the V-stitch. Okay, so this is the first one. So I'm going to slip stitch into that first space actually. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 half double crochet into this first space. So the first half double crochet is going to look a little different. So I'm going to insert my hook into the space, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops. So that was like a single crochet, but I'm going to add on a chain 1, and that's going to count as my first half double crochet. And then I'm going to put a second half double crochet into that space. Okay, and now we're going to do something very interesting again for round number 3. We're going to do a front post double crochet 2 together. So First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a chain 3, 1, 2, 3. So look at your work. You have 4 legs here in a sense. So I want you to yarn over, go underneath your first double crochet from the previous round. We'll do a front post double, but we don't finish it off. Okay, and we do the same thing, but this time we're going to do a front post on the last out of the 4 legs. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4 underneath this. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now I got 3 loops on my hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So we just did 2 front post double crochet together. Okay, we're going to chain 3, and into the space, the next space here, we're going to do 2 half double crochet. So here's my first one and my second half double, chain 3, and we're going to do 2 front post double crochet together. So yarn over, insert below the first double here, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, leave everything as is, yarn over, do another front post double up to this point. Now you have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, chain 3, and into this space right here we're going to do 2 half double crochet. There was 1 and there was 2, chain 3. Since this is a little bit different, I'm going to do this one more time without talking so you can just follow along. Okay, so go ahead and continue that combination and I'll meet you back at the end. Okay, I'm almost done with round number 3. So I just did my 2 half double plus a chain 3, and I'm going to do my last 2 front post double crochet together. And then I chain 3, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the first half double crochet. Okay, so I just slip stitch to close the round. Now I want to start working in the spaces, so this time I have to slip stitch over 2 stitches to find myself over there. Okay, so now we're going to start round number 4. So round number 4 is very easy. Into this first space here, I'm going to do a single crochet. And in this case, I'm going to mark it so I know where to slip stitch into. And then I'm going to do a chain 3. And then I'm going to single crochet into this next space right here. And then we're going to do a chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to jump over the 2 half double crochets from the previous round and we're going to do a single crochet into the next space. Okay, so this is a chain 3, this is a chain 5, so we're going to do another chain 3, 1 2 3, single crochet into the next space, and then we do a chain 5, 1 2 3 4 5, and we're going to single crochet into the next space. So alternate between chain 3 and chain 5 all the way around. I'm almost at the end of round 4. I got my chain 3. I'm going to do a single crochet into the next space, and before I slip stitch into this first single crochet over here, I'm going to do a chain 5, 3 4 and 5, and then slip stitch into this first single crochet, and that closes out round number 3. Look how pretty this looks. Okay, so to get started on 5, I'm going to slip stitch over into my next space here. So this is the chain 3 space that we just did, and I'm going to do a treble crochet to get started. So if you look at the pattern diagram, we're going to do 3 treble, chain 5, 3 treble. But to start out with, I'm going to do only 2 treble, and then here when we come back here, I'm going to do the last treble to close out this specific round. Okay, so for my first treble, the way I'm going to do it is you can just do a chain 4 if that's what you prefer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to yarn over, pull up a loop, and do a single crochet, and then on top of that I'm going to put 2 chains. So that represents my first treble crochet. Then I'm going to do my second treble crochet. Here we go. And then I'm going to chain 5, 1 2 3 4 5, and into the same chain 3 space I'm going to do another 3 treble crochet. So this was my first one. Here's my second treble and my third treble crochet. Okay, so that was my corner. Then we're going to do a chain 2, and into this next space right here I'm going to do a puff stitch, but big puff stitch with 5 loops. So yarn over, pull up a loop, that's 1, yarn over, pull up a second loop, yarn over, pull up a third loop, yarn over, pull up a 4th, yarn over, pull up a 5th loop. So you yarn over, pull through all the loops except for the first one, and then yarn over, pull through the remaining one. So that creates a nice little puff stitch right here. Then chain 2, and into this next chain 3 space I'm going to put 2 single crochets, 1 2, and then we're going to do a chain 2, and into the next chain 5 space we're going to do another chunky puff stitch. So yarn over 1 loop, yarn over 2 loops, yarn over 3 loops, yarn over 4 loops, yarn over 5 loops, yarn over, pull through all the loops except for the last one, and then yarn over, pull through remaining 2, and then you chain 2. So that was your pattern repeat for round number 5. Okay, so we find ourselves in the chain 3 space, and this time we're going to do 3 treble, chain 5, 3 treble. So here's my first treble, there was my second treble, and I do a third, and then chain 5, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to do another 3 treble into the same space. There was 1, that's 2, that's 3, and then chain 2 into the next chain 5 space. Do your big puff stitch. That's 1 loop, 2 loop, 3 loops, 4 loops, 5 loops. That was my puff stitch. Chain 2 into my next chain 3 space. I'm going to put 2 singles, 1, 2, chain 2, and into the next chain 5 space we're going to do another fat puff stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and chain 2. Okay, so we did 2 repeats of round number 5. So do 2 more and I'll meet you back here for that last treble crochet. Okay, so this is my last puff stitch. Chain 2, and into our first corner that we started out with, we're still missing a treble crochet, remember? So we're going to do our last treble into the same space here, and then we're going to slip stitch on top of the one that we did over here, and that closes out round number 5 for you. Look how pretty this is. This specific pattern, you can see it scrunches, especially when you use fine lace yarn. It's beautiful, but remember you have to block this one to really make this even more beautiful. Okay, we're gonna start round 6, which is the last of all the rounds. So I'm going to slip stitch my way over to my corner space here. Okay, so I find myself in the corner. So the pattern starts out with a double crochet. So do your chain 3 if you like. I'm going to do my double crochet this way, like a single crochet with a chain 1 on top. Then you're going to chain 2, and then you do another double crochet, and then you're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And to finish off the corner, we're going to do another double crochet, chain 2, and another double crochet. So that is your corner space. And into our next space right here, which is between the 3 treble and the puff stitch, we're going to do a V-stitch. So V-stitch is double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. Okay, and then we're going to do a V-stitch on the other side between the puff stitch and the 2 single crochets. So double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, and then continue on between the 2 single crochets and the next puff stitch. We're going to put another V-stitch, and here between the puff stitch and the 3 treble, we're going to put another V-stitch, and then we find ourselves in the corner. So let's do the corner one more time together. So we're going to start out with a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we do a double, chain 2, and a double. So in a sense, for the corner, we're doing 2 V-stitch with the chain 5 in the middle, okay? So now you're just going to continue your V-stitches in between each of the spaces, and that is what you need to do for round number 6. So I'll meet you back over here when I've done that. So I just did my last V-stitch. I find myself in the original corner, and all you need to do is you just slip stitch into your chain 3 or first double crochet, and then I just snip off my yarn, and you just need to fasten off your tail. But that is your beautiful lace-like granny square. How pretty is that? I hope my voiceover, my text pattern, and my pattern diagram was helpful in making this little crochet adventure successful for you. I would love to hear from you. Like, subscribe would be awesome. I will see you guys next time. Bye.